Hi everyone, long time no see. So I got some interesting comments along, with my older videos, and they're quite good. Like for example, like long-term plans, money saving plans for Filipinos. But then again, I want to remind everyone that it's my personal opinion. So you know, for instance, you don't agree with me, it's okay. You can say that. I don't really mind, but don't be rude. And at the same time, there are other people who has the different opinions. So I believe that each people has their own perspective and their own reality. And it is because of their personal experience or what they hear. So whatever I'm sharing right now, mostly they're from my experience or from what I see around me. But it doesn't mean I'm wrong, they're right, or I'm right, they're wrong. Anyway, what's my first topic for today? This is quite an interesting topic. So, apparently, one follower asked me, Mira, what do Filipino parents think once a Filipina would marry a foreigner, especially if there's an age gap? Okay, let's split that into two. So, generally, what do Filipinos think if their children would marry a foreigner? It really depends. So, actually, I might split that into four. So, for instance, let's say there are different cases. So, it really depends. Okay, one case is most Filipinos, most not all, they're open for they're not really new into seeing their families or their children or their daughters get married to foreigners. Mm, why is that? It is because we have been colonized like four times. I'm saying four because I'm also counting like that time that after the Japanese colonization, we were colonized again by United States. Now, don't get me wrong, it's what I know in our history. So it's like a Commonwealth Republic where they're trying to teach us how to run our constitution and so on, similar with what they did to Japan. But because we were colonized several times, we have this belief that marrying a foreigner, especially a Caucasian, is a symbol of going up to, like moving up the society. One clear evidence of that, like mestizos, mestizas. What are those? These are people who, Filipinos married to Spanish people, and then they would have children who are half, and that is like mestizos, mestizas. So in these cases, parents are in that during that time, parents are more than willing to let their children marry foreigners. Even during the American regime, and even I don't know Japanese because it was really short, only 3 years. Now, don't get me, don't tell me, oh, they actually raped Japanese rape Filipinos. No, don't say that to me. Every country that has colonized my country, either they all committed atrocities. Whoever did it the most, you'll never know, really, because we're not a part of it, right? So please don't get me with that. I might get those comments, and or anyway. So number one, yes, they would allow us because historically it is acceptable and it has been a habit to climb up the society. So number two, another reason, yeah, another thing why these older, our parents or maybe Filipina parents would allow us to marry, it is not only to climb the society but also to get money. So some for Filipinos who would say no, it's not like that. Not all, of course. So for some women who marry into like they assume that these Caucasians have more money than Filipinos, so it's okay because they can also benefit from it. Filipinos are very close to their families, and they have this long-standing familial. piety. I'm not sure, but we respect our parents, and they think that aside aside from their children would have a better future, at the same time their family would also have a good future. And then number three, it's good to brag it. My daughter is marrying a foreigner, like that. So it's something like that. Oh, my daughter is in the United States or something like that. So that's another thing why they might really accept it. Or then number four, green card. So, or I don't know. Is it also green card for other countries? I think that's United States, but my residence card in Japan, it's also green. So yeah, let's say green card. I don't know in other countries, but that's another thing. So some parents would say, "Oh, just try to live with it for a while, endure it, and then after you get your green card, you can get your sister, your brother to whichever country you are going, and then you can support our family and help us and so on and so forth. You will have a better future and so on and so forth." So sometimes some Filipinos, because they feel like uh, it is their responsibility to help their parents, they would also do that. Then number five, another reason why they, how do, how, what, why would they do this? Um, Perhaps sometimes, it's like the easy way out, especially for some single mothers. I remember I saw like three or four posts, like they were complaining their mothers, they were pushing them into marrying foreigners. Like, I remember one post, it says like, just marry an American. They will feel sorry for you even though you're a single mother. At least you'll have a better future. So their disappointment with their children, in order to, like, what do you call that? To reverse it, or to, you know, to compensate for that guilt of not being useful for the family, is marrying a foreigner. Something like that. So, like, okay, I failed my life, but I married a foreigner and now I can help my family. I have the most money, so something like that. Now, there are also good reasons. So, for instance, maybe a friend of a friend, but more or less it's acceptable. Now, are there some families who doesn't like Americans? Perhaps there are, or other foreigners. Usually there's a hierarchy. For instance, Caucasians are on top of the list because they think they're very generous, and then Japanese, and then Koreans, and then other, ethnicities. But Caucasians, blah 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 blah. So that is the hierarchy. Now, Mira, how do they really feel inside? Well, most of them, they're proud and happy, and they think that their children, would be in a better situation. Now, again, what I'm saying is not all parents, they're very much open into this. Normally, they would let their child decide, because I believe that regardless of, sometimes they have no choice, maybe, but it's the best way to help their family. But I have a lot of friends here in Japan, not friends with colleagues. So they married Caucasian, they're in a relationship with a Caucasian, and they have the same standard of living, and actually sometimes they're richer than the Caucasian, their counterpart, but they married, and I think in that case it's maybe not that great. It took time. There was no it was a give and take relationship. So that's another side. Now, how did their parents feel about it? Well, most of my friends, coworkers, or people I know who are well off, and then they're married to Caucasians, most of their families, they're happy for their children because they found love, but at the same time they're also proud of, like, their children. No, their children are doing well, and at the same time they're also glad, like, but sometimes they're a little bit sad because, let's say they have to move to Western countries, and that's further than Japan, right? Now, Mira, how do parents feel once their children get married? Well, of course they feel sad. It's mixed emotions, happy, sad, and so on. So perhaps it's like that. So, and it really depends on who you marry. Now, Mira, is there like a discrimination when you marry like a Caucasian, East Asian, and so on? Yes, there is. For instance, like,
got married to Caucasians, they look down on those people who marry Japanese. Mm. But I kind of find that funny. So, meh. I mean, I have no time for that. But again, yeah, that's how Filipino parents think once their children marry to foreigners, and why is it acceptable, why it's not acceptable, and so on. But generally, it's okay. We have been, colonized several times. We're open to it. It's a step up in the society for some people, and that's it. Mostly, I think most Filipino parents, aside from getting something, material things, I think they will still look for their children's future. If their child has a good future, they're okay. And monetary benefits come last, especially if they love their children. But of course, sometimes, they would take advantage of that situation as well. So mostly they are okay. Now, Mira, how about the age gap? How do parents feel about that? In the Philippines, we feel like an older person is more mature, so they would think it's okay. For people who, like us, a little bit of age gap is okay, and they're okay. But in some cases, some parents are okay because of the monetary benefits. But in most cases, they would let their child decide. Are there some situations where parents would force their children into marrying or being with older people? Yeah, there are a lot. I won't deny that. And even though this Filipina actually loves another Filipino, they would still say, just think of the family, think of your future, and like mother knows best, and so on. So that's about it. More or less, it still depends on the family. It still depends on their needs, and it still depends on their values and you know um, family culture. So it's still in there. I couldn't generalize everything, but morals probably it's acceptable, especially if it's for the benefit of their daughter, not only themselves but their daughter, a better future, their life, and so on. So that's it. I hope that answers your question. I don't know if it did, but anyway, thank you.